Hey everyone! Today, we're doing something different. Not a comeback roundup, not a scandal breakdown. This is a journey through the saddest goodbyes in K-pop. The endings that made whole fandoms go quiet, the farewell stages that turned arenas into oceans of tears, and the headlines that still hurt to say out loud. We'll move from recent farewells to the ones that shaped an entire generation of fans, and we'll talk about what they mean right now. Grab some tissues, let's begin. We start in the present. On August 4th, 2025, RBW confirmed that Purple Kiss will disband in November after 4 years together. The statement was clear, heartfelt, and final. The group will wrap up activities with a proper farewell, an English language album, Japan promotions, a US tour, and a last concert in Korea so Plory can say goodbye the right way. It's the kind of ending fans often beg for but rarely get. Closure with dignity, music, and time to celebrate what they built. Coverage has already framed it as a case study in the economics of mid-tier groups. Rising costs, crowded calendars, and algorithms that reward virality over steady artistry. But if you followed Purple Kiss since Zombie, you know the real story is craft. Harmonies that hit like a hug and a stage presence that felt bigger than the rooms they were in. Sometimes a goodbye doesn't feel like a door closing. Sometimes it's a promise to show up one last time. Goodbyes aren't always forever. In 2023, the last of BTS lined up for military service, RM and V on December 11th, Jimin and Jungkook on December 12th, joining Jin, December 2022, J-Hope, April 2023, and Suga, September 2023. The message that echoed through Weverse and press headlines was simple: see you in 2025. For millions, that was a bittersweet year-long goodbye. Not to the group, but to an era. As of this summer, the enlistment chapter is finally closing, and attention has shifted to the comeback timeline ahead. Whatever you call it, a pause, a promise, a countdown, those letters and shaved head photos became part of fandom history. Proof that sometimes the saddest goodbyes are really just intermissions before the biggest encore. If you remember May 18th, 2021, you remember the whiplash. GFRIEND confirmed they would leave Source Music after the members chose not to renew. The official note arrived first. The tears came after, in 6 handwritten letters posted on Weverse the next day. There were thank yous, apologies for the shock, and promises to carry the memories forward. For buddies, it felt like the floor gave out without warning. Source Music later apologized for the suddenness and outlined how they'd handle refunds in the group's social accounts. A rare glimpse into the admin side of a goodbye that many still call one of 4th Gen's biggest what-ifs. Every time a rookie group wins their first trophy, you'll still see comments like, "I miss the feeling GFRIEND gave me on stage." Project groups are built to end, but that doesn't make the ending easier. After contracts expired December 31st, 2018, 101 gave fans the goodbye they deserved. Therefore, a 4-night run at Gocheok Sky Dome from January 24th to 27th, 2019. If you were there, you remember the sound of tens of thousands singing like they could hold time and place. If you weren't, the fan cams still make you cry. Media described the shows as laughter through tears, solos stitched into group history, and one final bow from a team that turned survival show hype into real-world heat. 101's last messages to Wannables were about gratitude and growth. We were one. Every produce-born group that came after inherited both the thrill and the ache. Some goodbyes don't even give you a ticket stub. On April 29th, 2021, IZ*ONE officially disbanded after 2 years. Coverage that day read like a eulogy for a concept, elegance, pristine staging, and a sales record that could stand next to 3rd-gen giants. What hurt most was timing. COVID-19 restrictions meant no global farewell tour. One top-voted fan post on Kpop captured the grief. They're disbanding in a month and they won't be able to see their fans. They deserve a big farewell tour. Another added, It's disappointing why zones won't have that cathartic memory together. Is one's ending taught a hard lesson? Sometimes the last photo you have with your group is a screen cap. That doesn't make it less real. It just makes the goodbye quieter. Before there was a fourth-gen goodbye, there was Wonder Girls writing their own ending. On January 26, 2017, JYP Entertainment announced the disbandment and, in the same breath, promised a final digital single for their 10th anniversary. 2 weeks later, we got Draw Me, a song that sounded like a hug from the past to the present. The label even posted a montage titled, "Thank You for Being So Wonderful," because that's what fans had been for 10 years. This is what it looks like when a company handles goodbye with care. Not every ending can be happy, but it can be honorable. And in K-pop, that matters. Even after all these years, November 25th, 2016 still feels like a hard stop. YG Entertainment announced 2AE1's disbandment, and the world blinked. EDM rap pioneers with a global footprint, a sisterhood that redefined girl group swagger. And suddenly, it was over. In January 2017, CL, Bomb, and Dara recorded Goodbye, a ballad built from a letter CL wrote to Minzy. It wasn't closure. It was a breadcrumb trail back to what we loved. Even now, the word fans use most for 2AE1 is legacy. Some goodbyes echo for a decade. This one still does. Not every farewell is a disbandment. Sometimes it's a member leaving a company or stepping away, a softer goodbye that changes the group forever. GOT7 leaving JYP on January 11th, 2021 wasn't the end of the group, but it was a curtain call on a storied chapter. The members walked into their next acts together, and Agassiz learned you can say goodbye to a contract without saying goodbye to a family. EXO-CBX versus SM, multiple legal flare-ups since 2023 kept EXO-L on edge about what full group would mean going forward. Every public statement felt like a mini goodbye to a simpler time, even as the members fought to shape their future. These aren't tragedies, they're transitions, but they still carry that familiar ache. The version of your group you fell in love with is now a memory. This part is hard, and we're going to handle it with care. Some goodbyes are final, and they remind us that behind the music are human beings. SHINee's Jonghyun, December 18th to 19th, 2017. News reports described an outpouring of grief across Korea and the world. SHINee and SM led a private funeral. Fans held vigils in Pearl Aqua, the color he helped make iconic. Years later, people still quote his words when they're lost. Sulli, October 14th, 2019. A multi-hyphenate star whose passing triggered national conversations about cyberbullying, mental health, and the price of being a woman in the spotlight. The headline was stark. The impact was seismic. Goo Hara, November 24th, 2019. Reporting at the time captured a country asking how to protect its artists better and sooner. The grief around her name is a reminder that policy conversations are really about people. Astro's Moonbin, April 19th, 2023. Agency statements asked for privacy. Friends and fans held each other up as the news traveled across time zones. For many, it changed how they watch K-pop, with more empathy, more patience, more care. K-pop is built on stories we share in real time. Trainee diaries, countdown lives, fan cafe letters, encore stages that feel like home. So when an ending comes, sudden or planned, it's not just content stopping. It's a chapter ending in your life too. But not every goodbye stays a goodbye. Here's a little sunlight. In 2023, Mamaland disbanded after leaving their agency. And in 2025, headlines suddenly read, "Come back in September." K-pop loves a plot twist, and sometimes the saddest posters in your room are the ones that smile again years later. That doesn't erase the tears we cried back then. It just proves music can find its way home. K-pop goodbyes hurt because they're real. They're not just brand pivots or algorithmic outcomes. They're the ends of stories we lived together. Online at 3 a.m., in arenas, on sidewalks outside music shows. But endings can also teach us how to love this music better, with gratitude, boundaries, and hope for whatever comes next.